Yes, so yes, long title, the BPS Presidential Task Force on Diversity and Inclusion, what we've done, how the BPS has listened, and what everyone can do to create the change. So this is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. We need not wait to see what others do. And that's the quote. I think that is the quote from which the other one, be the change you want to see. I think that's where this comes from. So just a little bit about how the task force was set up back in March 2020. The selection process, there was a call put out and 85 BPS members responded to it. And David Murphy, who was then president, he set it up, and he and Bina Kandola, who was its initial chairperson, sifted the applications, and 12 people were selected. There is an 18-minute video, if any of you are interested, of some of the members talking about their hopes for the task force, and there's a link there.
And I mean, I guess just more generally to say, on the BPS web pages, you can see all the work of the task force. So you can Google or go onto the BPS website. And obviously, most of all the resources are free to access.
Yeah, and I'll show you another link actually later on for that. Yeah. So this is who we are. As I say, there's 12 of us, different ethnicities, different psychological professions, and also invisible disabilities. Yeah, so we sort of, I don't know if we're representative of all the sort of protected characteristics, but we have, you know, a good diversity in our own group. And one of the things that spurred me to join was that I have had quite a long wrestle with mental health difficulties. And so I felt that I could in some way bring the lived experience of that to the group.
I suppose to add to what Sue's saying about lived experience, quite a number of the task force have got lived experience of different sort of things that were relevant in terms of thinking about some of the work of marginalisation, I guess, in terms of that umbrella. And in the task force, we do talk a lot about that in our meetings and thinking about how that's useful in terms of some of the work that we've been doing. And sometimes, I guess, and we might talk about this a bit later, the challenge has been that in psychology, and I guess in the NHS that I'm used to, and probably in other services as well, psychologists rarely talk about their lived experience because there's still a big stigma around that. And you know, if you look in the research literature and you look at other literature in psychology, there's one or two prominent psychologists who've almost outed themselves, but very few people, particularly where that difference is not visible. You know, people don't feel safe to do that, and I think that's something we need to change.
Yeah.
We need to work on that because that doesn't help us.